Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. This is IMAX Sports with another football video, and today we're talking about my NFC South predictions for the 2021 NFL season. The NFC South consists of 4 teams like all the other divisions: the Panthers, the Falcons, the Saints, and the Buccaneers. And I'm going to be going over each game that each of those teams is playing and predicting whether or not they will win or lose, and then giving them a final record prediction at the end to see where they'll end up. Again, these predictions might be a little bit exaggerated. Mostly the Bucks. I think the other 3 are fairly accurate, but I think the Bucks predictions are a little bit exaggerated because my goal is to get as many correct as possible. So if I think that Tampa is going to win 14 games, then instead of trying to predict which 14 games, if I just predict that they'll win more, then it's easier for me to get more correct instead of potentially getting some upsets incorrect. So that's why sometimes my records on these are a little bit off. So if you want to see my actual record predictions, at the end of this video there will be a link to a video I made a couple days ago where I made final record predictions for all of the teams. So if you want to check that out, you can. But these are my game predictions for the NFC South. Let's get right into it. So first up on the list today is the Carolina Panthers at 4-13. I don't think the Panthers are going 4-13. I think the Panthers are more likely to have 6, maybe 7 wins. But for the purposes of this video, I have them going 4-13. I've given them wins against the Jets, the Texans, the Eagles, and the Falcons. First game of the season against the New York Jets, I gave the Panthers the win. I think that Carolina has a much stronger offense, and if both of these teams have terrible defenses, Carolina should be able to bring out the win. They have former Jet Robbie Anderson as well as Christian McCaffrey back on the field. And I think that Sam Darnold is going to go back up against his former team, the New York Jets, and smoke them in game 1. Week 2 against the Saints. I have them losing both games to the Saints. I just think that the Saints' defense is just so much superior to the Panthers' defense that even if their offenses are somewhat similar in caliber, there isn't really a chance for the Panthers to beat the Saints. I really don't know where the Saints are going to end up because of Jameis Winston's history, but I also don't know how the Panthers are going to be because of Sam Darnold's history. So I think that their quarterbacks cancel out, their running backs cancel out, their receivers cancel out. Their offenses are going to be very similar run offenses. Their defense is going to be the difference in those games, and the Saints just have a better defense. Week 3 against Houston. Now that Deshaun Watson is not starting as quarterback, I don't see the Texans winning any games this year. Therefore, everyone automatically defaultly beats the Texans, including the Panthers. Week 4 against the Dallas Cowboys. I have them losing to the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are going to have a very strong team. Neither of these teams have defenses, so it just comes down to the offense. And especially from what we saw Thursday night against Tampa's defense, Dallas's offense is just better. It's stronger, it's higher caliber. It's insane. Dak Prescott went off last year. He was averaging over 400 yards a game before he got injured. And I think that he's going to average more than 400 yards a game to start off this season, too. He already is. He's already at, 403 at the first game or something crazy. Week 5, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. I have the Panthers winning that game. Again, this is another, just straight-up comparison. The Eagles don't have an offense or a defense. Jalen Hurts is the only good player on their team, and we don't even know how good he is. I just think that the Eagles are on a downward spiral, and by week 5, the Panthers' offense will be in a good enough groove with Jameis Winston that they should be able to fairly easily beat the Eagles. Now we start the losing streak. Week 6, and this is what they did last year. Last year, the Panthers started off 4-3, and they finished off the season 5-11. We got the Vikings, the Giants, the Falcons, the Patriots, the Cardinals, Washington, and the Dolphins. None of these teams are exceptionally good. None of them are bad, but none of them are exceptionally good, except for Arizona. The Vikings have a really strong offense, but their defense sucks. They might have improved a little bit last year, but it's still pretty bad. I think that'll be a very high-scoring game, but I think the Vikings will come out on top. I think that they have a more veteran quarterback that's more used to the system, and that's going to really benefit them in the long run. They also have better wide receivers. I mean, Dalvin Cook versus Christian McCaffrey, okay, you can say whatever you want about Christian McCaffrey, but those two running backs are close enough where the Vikings wide receivers and the quarterback make all the difference. Against the Giants, I have them losing once again. I think that'll be a fairly straightforward game. I think that the Giants' defense is very strong compared to the Panthers' defense. I think that the Giants' offense will take a while to get clicking, but I think once they do, the Giants will be an above-average team, and I think that they'll be able to beat the Panthers. The next week against the Falcons in the 8th game of the season. I don't know what week it is because I don't know what bye week is, but 8th game of the season, we have the Atlanta Falcons. I have them losing to the Falcons. I have them splitting with the Falcons, losing in Atlanta, winning in Carolina. So, I have them losing in Atlanta. I have them losing to the Patriots. I have them losing to the Cardinals. I have them losing to Washington. I have them losing to the Dolphins. I think those four are fairly self-explanatory. Beating the Falcons in Carolina, and then the last 4 games of the season are just hell. Bills, Bucks, Saints, and Bucks. There's no way they win any of those games. They just don't. No universe. Falcons at 6-11. We have the first game of the season against the Eagles, which is an easy win. Everyone is beating the Eagles this year. We have them losing to the Bucks, the Giants, and Washington. Again, Giants and Washington defensive matchups very lopsided. I'm not going to have the Falcons beating those two powerful defenses when their offense lost Julio Jones and Todd Gurley, and their defense didn't improve at all. I think it's I think that they're going to lose both games to the Bucks. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. They lost both games to the Bucks last year. It wasn't even close. Week 5, we have them beating the Jets. Everyone's going to beat the Jets. The Jets are garbage. Week 6, we have them losing to the Dolphins. Again, I've already gone over every single game for all of these teams in previous videos. These are just me rehashing because I've already gone through all the games so far. It's just the divisional games that we haven't gone through yet. Have them beating the Panthers, splitting with the Panthers. I have them losing to the Saints, the Cowboys, and the Patriots 3 weeks in a row. Those are two tough defenses and 2 tough offenses. The Saints have both, so that'll be an interesting row. You get to the Jaguars, I have them beating the Jaguars. This is a change that I made from my AFC South video. I have them beating the Jaguars now. I had them losing to the Jaguars previously. I think that the experience with Matt Ryan is going to be able to give them the victory against Trevor Lawrence. The Jaguars team also is very bad, so no matter how good Trevor Lawrence is, the Jaguars aren't going to be a great team this year just because their team is so trash around him. I have them losing to the Bucks for a second time, and then splitting with the Panthers, losing in Carolina, like I previously said. And then to end off the season, they have a much better schedule than the Panthers did. I have them losing to the 49ers. I have them beating the Lions. I have them losing to the Bills, and I have them beating the New Orleans Saints in Atlanta. I don't have the Panthers splitting with the Saints because I think that it's tough. I think it'll be tough for Sam Darnold to beat the Saints. I think that Matt Ryan has enough in him to beat the Saints. Now we move on to the Saints. I have the Saints at 10-7. I think this is a very fair record prediction for the Saints, especially considering I have them losing a game to the Falcons. So even if they beat the Falcons twice, that'll bring them at 11-6. I think that this is a pretty fair estimate of the Saints' abilities. I have them losing week 1 to the Green Bay Packers. I don't think this game will be too close. The Saints are going to need to get used to their offense before they start doing well. And Michael Thomas is injured. So I don't see them beating the Packers without Michael Thomas. Moving on to week 2, we have the Carolina Panthers. I have them beating the Panthers. Just straight up. I don't think that's a highly contended opinion. Week 3 against the Patriots. I have them losing. And here's why. I think that with Jameis Winston at quarterback, he's going to need to get used to the offensive system. And he's going to need Michael Thomas. I know Jameis Winston was with them last year, but he's going to need to get used to playing without the number one wide receiver on the team. And I think that against the Patriots defense is going to be all over Jameis Winston. We have the best secondary in the NFL. So I think that putting Jameis Winston, who threw 30 picks in 2019, up against the best secondary in the NFL isn't going to be very good. It's not a good sign. If Michael Thomas was playing, if this was week 8 or 9, I would give the game to the Saints. But it's week 3. It'll be a defensive game. The Patriots will probably win 21-14 or something. 21-17. Against the Giants and Washington, I think that the Saints' offense, even without Michael Thomas, is better than both the Giants and Washington's offenses. And their defenses are all fairly similar, I would say. Moving on to Seattle, I have Seattle beating the Saints. This is the week after Michael Thomas returns, I believe. I still think Seattle will beat them. I think that Seattle's offense is stronger. I think that their defense will improve for this season. I think that this will be a very high-scoring game, and Seattle will come out on top like 41-34 or something. Bucks Falcons next 2 weeks. I have them splitting with both the Bucks and the Falcons. They have 2 home games in a row. I think that in the Superdome, the Saints beat the Bucks. Brady has a terrible record against the Saints compared to. It's not a bad record, but compared to other teams, it's not as good as his record against other teams. So I think that he loses in the Superdome and he wins at home. Against the Tennessee Titans, I have a loss for the Saints. I think the Titans are one of the stronger teams in the AFC, and I think that their offense will just overpower the Saints' offense. That will be another high-scoring game, just like the Seattle game, probably like 40-something or 30-something. Eagles. We have the Saints beating the Eagles. Enough said. Saints-Bills. I have a loss marked down for this one. I think the Bills are the strongest team in the AFC, except for maybe the Chiefs. I mean, not much else to be said there. I have them beating the Cowboys. And I think that the defense will make all the difference in this game. I think the Cowboys have a stronger offense, but I think this will be not as high scoring as the Seahawks or the Titans game, and that's what's going to hurt the Cowboys. I think that they'll keep Dak Prescott to 31 points. And I think that the Saints will score 34. I think it'll be like a high-scoring game, but not like super high. Like on the cusp of being pretty high, but not like super high. And that's what's going to give the victory to the Saints. Next week, I have the Jets. Enough said. After that, we have them losing to the Bucks in Tampa. We have them beating the Dolphins towards the end of the season. I think that, like I said, I think the Dolphins and the Patriots have very similar teams. If it was week 8 or 9, I would have the Saints beating the Patriots. Or week 15, I would have the Saints beating the Patriots. Week 15, I have the Saints beating the Dolphins. It's the difference of Michael Thomas, in my opinion. Panthers, I have them winning both games against the Panthers, and I have them losing to the Falcons the last game of the season, which will potentially kick them out of the playoffs, depending on tiebreakers with the Rams and the 49ers. Most likely the 49ers. I think the Rams are more likely to be 12-5 or 11-6, even though I had them at 10-7 for the predictions. But yeah, 49ers and Saints, I think, are going to have a tiebreaker for that 7th seed. And then Bucks at 16-1. I don't think they're going 16-1. They went 11-5 last year. I think they're probably going to have 12, 13, or 14 wins. 12, 13, or 14. I don't think they're winning 16 games. That being said, I think that they have a better team than everyone that they're playing against. This is arguably one of the easiest schedules that you can have. This is the easiest schedule, I think, in the entire league. I had them beating the Cowboys. They already beat the Cowboys. I have them beating the Falcons twice. I have them beating the Panthers twice. I have them sweeping the AFC East, including the Patriots. I have them winning week 3 to the Rams, who I think are a very strong team. I think that the Bucks are stronger than the Rams on the offensive side of the football. On defense, the Rams might be a little bit stronger, but I think that offense is going to be what matters in that game. I think that their defenses are close enough where it's not going to be the deciding factor. I don't think the Eagles, the Bears, or the football team will pose much of a threat. Washington has improved from last year. They gave them a fight in the playoffs, but at the end of the day, Brady came out on top of them in the playoffs. I think he'll come out on top in the regular season as well. Have the Giants, Colts, Falcons all losing. Enough said. The only two games I want to talk about are the Bills game and the Saints game. I think the Bills could very well beat the Buccaneers. The reason why I don't have them beating the Buccaneers is because Josh Allen has never beaten Tom Brady, and I don't think that that's likely to start anytime soon. And last but not least, we have the New Orleans Saints, and I have the Saints beating them in Week 8. I think Week 8 to 10 is going to be the Saints' strongest games of the season, and I think that their defense is going to be clicking on all cylinders when their offense is working well. And I think that there's going to be enough that happens where the Saints can come up with a victory. Also, Brady has a terrible record against the Saints, so that doesn't help him in his favor. So, yeah. Those are my predictions for the NFC South. Again, it's more of like 14-3, 10-7, 7-10, and 6-11, more like. Not exactly those numbers, but generally. Make sure to check out my NFL record predictions video. In that video, I go over my actual record predictions for all of the teams, in case you haven't seen that. And happy Sunday. Happy Football Sunday. First one of the year. I am overly excited for the Patriots game tonight at 4:30. Really hope we can beat the Dolphins, because then I'll look less stupid for saying that we're going to go 10-7 or whatever. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, smash subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.